Well, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in this week to our show called From the Trailer. This week we have an independent producer, writer, director, and a friend of ours who we've worked with on a lot of projects in the past. We'd like to introduce you to Gary DeJidas. And if you're wondering why Gustavo and I are looking around every while first, we're actually in the trailer doing production. So as you can see, this is me up here. Gustavo's back in the audio booth, so if we're not looking directly at the camera, we're sorry for that because we are in the process of working on the video as we're doing it. So as of right now, let's introduce you to our friend Gary DeJidas. It looks like he's got another friend with him. Who's that with you, Gary?
So this is one of our editors, Pistachio. We just wanted to say hi. All right, Pistachio. So this is the edit suite office that I'm in.
For the company Flying Peanut Productions. And it's named after your other dog, Peanut, correct?
Yeah, she's having a nap right now, but I'm sure she'll make an appearance at some point.
Peanut's a pretty awesome dog. Pistachio's funny, too. So, we've known you for a long time, Gary, and I didn't really know, I don't think Gustavo knew, is how you pretty much got into the industry of television and film production. What made you decide to get into this business?
A little bit of insanity, a little bit of rebellion, I think, but it's been 20 years, all self-taught. I met you, that's over 10 years ago now.
Oh, yeah.
And Gustavo, I don't know if you knew this, but I couldn't stand Mike when I first met him. So,
what a surprise!
It might be a common story, but then, over time, we worked well together and started doing shows together, like the team building events, and really, really crazy events in New York, where it's almost impossible to get in the venue. That kind of stuff, and then so it just rolled over, and then most recently did a film together. So I got started just right out of school running a production company on the back lot of Universal for a real crook, and then I learned that they were a real crook, so then I just went on my own and said, if anyone could be a crook, I might as well. So, but the business, it was all self-taught, and I've been doing it since I was 23, so you're going on 20 years now. So.
But a lot of people knew you more at the beginning as a photographer, though, right?
Well, it started, but there was a change. I would say half of what I did was photography at first, but 20 years ago or 15 years ago, you actually had to know what you were doing to be a photographer. That's not the case anymore. Technology is advanced, and everybody has a $3,000 camera that can look really good. So the photography side of the business kind of went down, although I still have a couple clients like Orlando Orthopedic Center, do all their headshots and things like that, but focus more on video production side now than the photography side. But I still do the photography. It's a lot of fun.
So how was like the past year, 2020, for you? Because I know a lot of people end up going to video streaming, and a lot of photographers were pretty much just doing product shots. How did your company survive through the 2020?
Well, we're lucky because we got the office here. We've got now 3 edit stations, 2 of which you built, one of which built by Apple, and so we're lucky. Like it really hasn't affected us because it affected us on the production side. Not as many jobs. We didn't go to any really the first half of 2021, and then second half of 21 we did a few with COVID restrictions and things like that. But the edit work, similar to you with the streaming, the edit work really took off because now they're doing virtual shows, and where a normal show would need, 5, 10 video rolls, these virtual shows need 100 video rolls. So there's a lot more demand on the post-production side for that, and actually going for an editing job in LA next week. And so there's a lot, and that's in studio, and then they're going to broadcast it out. So I'll be editing. It's kind of like recording in tape in studio. I'll do the edit, then they'll stream the whole event. So you just kind of adapt. Been lucky. And then with the veteran charity, that hasn't stopped because there's still thousands of injured veterans in need. So luckily, donations are still coming in, and we're able to give mortgage-free homes. So we have to do all the videos for those. Stay busy with that.
What charity is that?
Building Homes for Heroes, the best injured veteran charity out there.
Well, I know Gustavo and I had a great time working with you guys on those projects in the past, and I know you were talking about the team building event, and hopefully we can get back to doing those. And that, if anybody doesn't know what that is the team building event is where they bring all the past families in, and they do like family games and fun here in Orlando.
Yeah, over by Disney, and it's like a 3-4 day event. Mike and Gustavo, head up all the AV, and then we produce all the games and videos and things like that for it. Play the video, play it so they can see the Building Homes of Heroes, and then when part of the video that you're gonna see is a veteran that was told they would never walk again, they would never talk again, they never eat on their own again, and they've made an amazing recovery over the last couple of years. But in the video, 3 years ago, he was at the team building event that Mike's talking about, and couldn't barely get out of the wheelchair, could barely lift an arm, and now he's walking the dog, and was gifted a home a couple months ago and making a huge recovery, and he's a major in the United States Air Force. So we'll play that.
We'll play it right now for you.
Wait.
You ready, Gustavo?
No.
Okay, here we go.
Building Homes for Heroes, they have a big heart for the veterans. This free mortgage it's a lot for him also and for us, because we not gonna have mortgage payment, and it's so good that for him they gonna build the thing that according to his handicap. Building Homes for Heroes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are here today in Land O'Lakes to give retired United States Air Force Major Gabriel Gonzalez his mortgage-free home. Thank you for their donations that fully funded this renovation of this home, and this is the last one of the year, and it's going to be wonderful.
I can say nothing, just thank you. It's really so beautiful.
Thank you for all your help and this beautiful house and over the years. Thank you so much. Yeah, really, thank you everyone for all you've done for giving us this beautiful house that my mother and I can live in. I can't thank you enough. It's amazing. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a really cool organization, and
they
Gustavo and I
just
have a lot of fun working with them.
they just got their new injury rating or the charity rating, and they're in the 96th percentile, which is unbelievable. Which is essentially 96 cents of every dollar goes to the veterans. And they're in a very elite class. There's not many organizations with that high of a rating, 4-star charity navigator rating and things like that. So really, really legitimate, really nice people, and really care about the veteran and their injuries. In that particular video, Mike shot the drone. We had a Ronin that he brought for some of the stabilized shots. And then we edit those to send out to 20 or 25 sponsor partners with the organization, and so they can kind of see the recovery of the veterans, things like that.
I know they had a goal of giving away one house every 11 days. Have they, during 2020? I know it must have been really hard, but did it really deter them from doing that? I know we didn't do a lot of locational video for them, so I just didn't know what the process or the status of that was.
I believe they met that goal. If not, they got really close. I mean, they definitely did more than 30 homes. I want to say off the top of my head, they did 40 in 2020. They only covered a handful, though, as far as video production and photography. Most of them were really small, ceremonies, not even ceremonies, just kind of, you know, key giving, like, here's your new home, not really any press, anything like that because of COVID. But towards the end of the year, they were able to follow like state guidelines, spacing, have like, 20 people or less, whatever the state was requiring at the time. So we did a few ceremonies at the end of last year. And there's a couple coming up this year with the same guidelines. But I think they'll come back once all the vaccines are out and hopefully COVID is behind us. We should start doing a bunch more because it's really nice to get, processions and the police department, the fire department. Usually the mayor comes out, things like that. So it's a lot of fun.
What do you think the 2021 is going to hold for this situation? Do you think they're going to ramp it up now that vaccines are starting to go out, or do you think they're going to still try the one home every 11 days?
I'll take a guess here and say the second half is going to be nuts, like absolutely nuts. I think there's a lot of shows and productions and events that I know are already booking things. The question is when. I mean, I knew some that were going to try to do stuff in the summer, but they've since changed it. But I think once you get to like October, November, you got a lot of like pent up demand, for not only like travel but shows, and you just need the first one, the first big one. And right. You get through that, nobody died from COVID, and then I think the rest are gonna, follow. But I think it's gonna be roughly until you get through the summer, because even if the vaccines go out over the next couple months, there's still that time, and the people that don't want to get it, and they're, it's a new world. But second half looks like it'll be extremely busy across the board, and then definitely 2022 will probably be nuts.
Yeah, that's good to hear, especially for people that haven't worked in a long time. Hopefully, everybody gets back to work.
Yeah, but you gotta adapt. I mean, like you did. Like live events may have went away, so you went into video streaming, the most popular, demand out there right now. Everyone needs that, so you just gotta adapt through this times. I mean, this is. I remember in 2008, 2009, when we had this sort of financial crisis. And then you had a new administration with the Obama administration, and they, were coming attacking corporations and taxes and money, whatever. We hit the same thing. There was a year or two where almost all the work disappeared in this business, even across the board. So got through that. I think we'll get through this, and then even movies are coming up, just with a lot of restrictions. Like I have an edit job in Los Angeles next week, and you've got to get the test. You've got to be vaccinated. You've got to have CDC guidelines on site. You got to have all this stuff, but they're still doing shows. They're still in the studio, so they're finding a way to do it.
We our last interview was with Adrienne, and we talked about a little small independent project that she was involved in that you wrote and directed. When was that shot? That movie. So
we did a movie. Feature comedy with a little bit of horror, but 99% comedy. We started it, and life is so much about timing, but we went into production in January of 2020, started shooting February and March, and then COVID hit. So I didn't actually finish the movie until several months later. And then you've been around since the beginning of that process with car rigs and all the gear and camera systems and special effects and all that kind of stuff. And but we started shooting. We got about 80% of it, in the can, whatever. And then COVID, and then it was just like, who knows? Is the world ending? Whatever. Didn't really get to film anything for another 4 or 5 months. So in the movie, we tried to hide it as well as you could. But one of the actresses has 3 different hairstyles. If you're paying attention, you'll notice that, because it was just so spaced out over the course of a year, and that they all, a couple of them looked slightly different, and we had to fake a lot of things. But we got all the way through it, and finished the color grade, finished the edit, all of that, maybe the end of last year. And then during the beginning of this year, we're able to film a lot of the voiceovers, things like that. But it took a year mostly because of COVID, but also because it's like an independent film and you're doing it yourself. There's a lot of steps. So it is 1 year, almost 1 year to the day that we're talking here. I mean, maybe 13 months ago we started that project, and now we're finally done.
And what made you wanted to do this project?
I did movies all through my 20s. I had a woman that I produced films with and things like that, and then sort of life kind of happens in your 30s, and the business stuff started going well, and the corporate stuff. And then a couple years ago, I was like, I was talking to you actually. It's like, I think I'm ready to get back into movies, because I was exclusively doing movies the first 10 years of my career, and then took like a 10-year hiatus, built the business, and did all the other stuff, and now coming back into it. But I always started in movies, so that's probably where I'm going to end, and that's what my background's in.
What would you say was the hardest part besides the COVID of making this new movie of yours?
Well, certainly the color grade and the edit system had a lot of challenges, very frustrating challenges that you've tried to help me with a few times, but just those. There's so much data with the 4K RAW and just, I don't know, 50 terabytes of storage, whatever we have in this thing. It's just so much information to handle that the most frustrating part came, in the edit, which for me is usually really fast. But when you're dealing with something of this scale, it's a lot trickier. But the actual production part for me is really easy because I've been doing it so long. And we used all students for the most part, paid everybody, what we could. Cast did a great job. I mean, I think always the hardest part is finding the cast, but this cast was really fantastic, considering it was Orlando. And then I think, honestly, the hardest part is writing the first page is probably the hardest part. And then other than that, just getting, if I had 2 months to shoot it, that's one thing, but we were shooting like 7 or 8 pages a day. So, we're shooting 3-page scenes, and you allot yourself 3 or 4 hours to do it. I mean, you gotta be on point. So really the speed that we had to shoot in order to do it in the time that we had, that was a challenge. And then, getting all the way through with this edit system and things like that. Pistachio, we just had people leave the office, so Pistachios has separation anxiety. Hey, come here.
Yeah, he's a puppy.
But play the movie trailer. It's a comedy. It's a few girls get together to have a hurricane party, and a bunch of shenanigans kind of happen from there.
Okay, and here comes the trailer. What was the name of the movie?
Night of the Insolent Vermin.
Interesting name. Okay, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a spectacular motion picture event. Full of action, mystery, Instagram hotties, bugs, and blood.
Let's give those little bastards hell. I have to shit.
A story never before told in the history of the world. In the history of the universe.
Still don't make no sense.
What? It is not my fault you don't understand my accent. Who hires a Cuban to do a movie trailer voiceover? With a deadly hurricane approaching, a group of friends decide to hunker down together to ride out the storm.
And you girls, you have your supplies? Keg of beer, propane for the grill, definitely barbecue spare ribs.
But they soon discover trouble is afoot. They are surrounded by tiny danger, a city plunging into chaos, and a couple of big dumb lawn guys. This movie is like nothing you've seen before, with a Mexican MacGuffin, some really cheesy special effects, and plot twists that will make you wonder if this movie ever had a script. No movie in the history of the world word? Cinema has made silly so sexy, written and directed by a guy who you've never heard of, filmed by a crew of film students paid with burritos, and produced by a nation with anger management issues. Shh.
Mark it.
You motherfucker, shut up! Quiet on set! Flying Peanut Productions, and a production house proudly present Knights of the Insolent Vermin.
All right, kid. I want to watch this. Where is it? Where can we watch this?
We're working on that with Mike right now, but soon.
Yeah, we're in
enough
the
to start
process
with it.
of getting distribution for it.
Yeah, and you know, obviously I had to call in a lot of favors with Mike and and some others that he had Jenny, one of the actresses in the video, jump off the second story balcony.
I didn't have her jump off the second story building. She wanted to jump off the second.
Well, and he had to, we got the big stunt pad and all of that. And so, we called in some favors and then, so there's some cool moments like that. But really, it's a movie that anyone could do. Like I got the lenses, a set of old Nikon primes and Zeiss Cinema primes off of eBay. I don't think there's a lens that we used in the movie that was more than $100. And then that camera, that's not the latest and greatest, but it is, for this movie, it worked out really well. I mean, 4K RAW and a little heavy on the codec end to deal with in the computer. That was some of the fight, but certainly affordable for anybody, to make. And, we that particular camera reused, it has no rolling shutter, which was amazing because I had the camera, constantly moving in this thing. And but you don't need the latest and greatest equipment. You just kind of have to know what you're doing and have a lot of passion. But this one's fun because everyone in it had a good time. There's no way you're not going to laugh. And the most of the cast, also doubles as the crew. So Anna, who was the voiceover in the trailer, is also the first AC, and she shot some of the movie. And then Jenny, is jumps off the balcony. She's an actor, but she was also in the camera department, in the movie. And so everyone's, playing these double and triple roles. And but that's what you had to do because we didn't have a lot of money. So.
It was fun. It was fun for some of the things we did. I mean, I wasn't there for the whole thing, but when I was there, it was fun. And it was mostly like, can we do this? And I was like, why not?
Yeah, supposed to be. Mike came when we had all the fun stuff, like kill scenes and, cutting arms off and, all that kind of stuff. So driving scenes that we rigged with, $25 worth of supposed steel from Home Depot. I don't even know if you call it steel. I don't know what, a Chinese steel or something. I don't know what it is, but we made it work. I mean, for $25, we got a full day of car towing scene. Can't beat that price. But you have to just be creative. But we did kill the rig. The rig is destroyed. So.
Well, the funny thing about that rig was it died right after the last shot.
Yeah, right before the last shot.
Yeah, well,
so we actually
shot a day.
Yeah, we shot. When you see the movie and the car scenes, the close-ups in the car were actually shot like 2 weeks after the main car scene we shot with Mike. Because we didn't get to the last shots when our car rig died, but I think what we got looks really good. And we have a car in the movie. Another character in the movie is this really crappy car called the Beater. So we did all the filming in the Beater, and the headliner's falling down in this car, and it really is just kind of a piece of shit. So, but we were able to then just rig like the the neutral density gel in the window, and if you saw it, who cares? I mean, it just looks like a falling apart car. So in our favor. So if you look, you'll see all of the lighting, like gel rigs and things like that in the car. And but for this movie, I think it works.
Yeah, it did.
Because this one's, as long as it's funny, that's all that matters. It's that kind of comedy.
If you could go back to the beginning of this whole project, would there be anything you'd change?
Wow. Would I change anything? I probably would have asked you for a better monitor for the color grade. That would have saved me a lot of time. I had to go through the color grade 3 times. It's still not perfect, but you got to stop.
Well, that's not what you do.
Yeah, and then so I had to learn that. But I probably would have taken a little bit more precaution with the sound and the audio. I spent a lot of my time in Adobe Audition cleaning up bad sound. So I probably would have focused more on that. But as far as the look, I think it looks great. I think the actors are fantastic. Obviously there's things I wish I shot or covered or little things like that. But overall, I would say pay attention to audio, even though we like to say that video and camera is the most important. The audio will kill you if it's not good.
Yeah.
It's just throw in the towel now. So there's a couple scenes in there that I must have spent days trying to clean up in audition just to get them up to par. So I will probably take a little more. And next time I'm gonna the sound is gonna be very, very high priority, right up there with whatever camera. Like we had a what is it? A Sennheiser 416. We had one of those. We had the new generation Sennheiser. We had the Lav series. We had all kinds of good gear, but there's still. And then we did a 32-bit recording into the mix pre, kind of thing. So I had a lot of room in the post end to clean it up, but I would have taken a lot more time with it, location audio, because if we got that cleaner, that would have probably saved me a month of editing.
Yeah, audio is kind of a hard one to. You're better off getting the good stuff from the beginning than trying to think of changing it in post.
Oh yeah, because no doubt. But sometimes you just gotta block out sounds. You gotta make the location, and I didn't even know this. Where we shot, at the house here, freaking airplanes. Before COVID, there was a couple planes during the day, whatever. But during COVID, for some reason, and Mike can tell you about this. We would shoot every time we would shoot outside. It was almost like constant, little planes, just constant. And for some reason in COVID, that exponentially got worse. There was, planes, several planes an hour versus just a few planes a day. So some things you can't really control like that. For some reason, there was no people, there was no one driving or anything like that when we were shooting. But the amount of planes during COVID were absolutely insane for whatever reason.
Well, you're also near private
executive airport.
Yeah, so
close-ish, 5 miles or something. But there's not even today. I haven't heard one plane, so all day. So it's something in COVID. The planes were. I don't know why, but that was kind of a pain. And then I love we did full blackouts. Mike told us about this movie from the 80s that shot nighttime scenes. They just blacked the whole top out. They shot it all during the day, whatever. So we did something like that for the end of the out here. We just plastic tarp the whole courtyard area and real big, but that worked great. I probably would have done that for all the night scenes going back if I had to do it again. But I think it works really well.
What's really funny is I didn't even know you were going to use that for your movie.
Oh,
I was just explaining to you one day, you need to watch this movie from the 80s. They blacked out all of Universal's backlot so they could shoot during the day. The next thing I know, you're like, well, hey, I'm going to do that for my movie.
Let's do it. And we did.
It worked great. Nobody could, when I was there, you couldn't tell if it was day or night at all. So It worked great. I think the only downfall you have with it is you're in Florida, and a big black tarp in an enclosed area becomes like an oven. So you might want to check some kind of airflow for next time, because it was a little hot in there. But otherwise, it looks great. You can't tell what time of day you shot it. It definitely looks like nighttime. And you got the effect you wanted. Yeah.
Oh, no, totally. Yeah, the ending, the last, third of the movie is fantastic. It all takes place at night and exterior night, and that's the best looking stuff I think we have, the whole, in the whole movie, even though it was the hardest to shoot. But with that one, I think we took your idea, closed it up, tarped it. It was cheap. I mean, you can buy these plastic tarps from Home Depot, these rolls of them, whack it all out. But no, yeah, it was great. We had a makeshift rain machine. I'd love to have a real rain machine one day. We took a hose and PVC pipe and a bunch of holes, whatever. But little things like that. For the next one, we'll have them.
You could buy what they call the rain birds from Home Depot. And if you basically make an array of them, that will make your rain. And as long as you put them high on a C-stand or something, it'll work perfect.
Next one.
Especially in the, because you're not, where you were shooting wasn't a huge area. So you don't need a big apparatus to make the rain you're looking for. And they make little different jets that go in the rain birds so you can have different sized droplets.
That's cool. For the next one.
And it's cheap. I think they're like $12 a head, and you probably need maybe 4. For the size of the area that you have.
And we didn't have a dolly, but I would love to have a dolly at some point. But we had a slider, and we had a long slider rig. So we spent most of the movie like faking dolly moves with sliders, and then jib slider. Like we made all these kind of concoctions for this.
You didn't ask me for a dolly though.
Yeah, well, next time. You can only have so much, The slider worked good. One of my favorite shots, you'll see it with the slider we did, is there's like an infestation of roaches, and just thousands of them, and in this movie, and they attack. They're like little piranhas. But there's one shot where the one girl has to kill the roach on the pool table, and she kills it by hitting a pool ball. The roach goes flying, across the table, lands in the pocket, whatever. We did it with a little slider rig. It looks really good. So, there's Jenny. I'm on Mike's TV show. Come say hi. I'm on Mike's TV show. Just say hi.
There she is.
They're one of the stars of the movie.
Yep. Hello.
Miss, I jumped off the second-story building.
There you go. All right.
You're right. She's shy.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
But anyway, what else do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't ask for a dolly. I would have given you a dolly.
Next time. The problem with the dolly is it's great, but I mean, who's going to run it? Nick? Like I don't have, we'd have to teach someone to, be the dolly grip.
I taught Nick how to run a dolly on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. So
yeah,
he could run a doorway dolly. It's not that big of a deal.
Well, next time we're taking the doorway dolly because we did it with the slider, but that was a pain in the butt.
What do you think your next project's going to be?
Well, it depends. If we're going to Pennsylvania, we're going to do our comedy crypto pseudo horror movie up there. If that doesn't work out for the summer, then I'll probably do a similar type cast movie through Valencia, their film program over the summer here in Orlando, depending if we go Pennsylvania or Orlando. One of the two, but it's going to be a comedy. If
we go to Pennsylvania, it's going to be a 6K project.
6K and some of my favorite topics: cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. That's going to be in there. All of that good stuff. Well, we'll see. I'm trying to get this one done, and then we'll move on to that one.
You gonna find some for Jenny to jump off again?
I showed her a movie. The stunts are actually really good in it. It's a Mad World from like the 60s, whatever, the comedy.
It's actually the 70s.
Like a chase comedy,
early
whatever.
70s, yeah.
Yeah, it could be early 70s. She was all hyped up. I mean, that movie was like all stunts. I mean, the whole freaking thing. So a road movie would be cool sometime, but maybe not next.
You could do like a fake Mad Max kind of thing. Some of the roads are empty enough.
Or like we may do it for the next one because I think I want there may be a string of robberies that happen in the next one, so we might need a little road coverage, something better than we had on Insulin Vermin though. Like maybe something made of steel instead of Home Depot aluminum or whatever the hell we were using.
But come on, it would have been as much fun then.
It was interesting. I think Kayla, the lead actress, made me terrified. She had to drive the car. Like when Mike was kind of on the truck that was towing everything, and the actors were in the car being kind of towed, but they still had to steer and hit the brake. Mike was up in the back of the truck yelling this way, yelling that way, like yelling at Nick who was driving, yelling at the actors. Like there was just a lot going on that day. And we just kept doing circles in the neighborhood until the rig just died.
But I mean, you got the footage you wanted.
Yeah. Oh, it's in there.
That's
You'll
all
see
that
it. It looks good. Yep, we got it. And then we took the camera car out. That footage looks great. With the camera mounted on the stabilizer up front, or even the little action cam mounted to the rails. All of that's in there.
I just know, do not let Gary control a remote camera off a camera car. He is not the best
no.
operator.
Not my skill set, but I got the shots, worked out all right.
That's all that matters. You get the shots you want.
Yeah.
Where do you see the future of filmmaking going? For you at least, or for other independents?
I mean, I think it's totally different now than even 5 or 10 years ago. I mean, I think there's so much content demand on the television, and I think everyone's home viewing experience is way better. I mean, for $500 or $1,000, I mean, you can have a 70-inch screen with surround sound, like in your living room, So I think the theater's going to have a hard time, surviving. I mean, of course they have their place. The problem is those type of movies that go in a theater have to generate so much money because they spend so much money that you're really limited to just a few genres, like big action movie, whatever, something like that. But something like a comedy rarely makes it to the big screen because it's not universal. It's really hard. Like if you translate it for a European audience or something like that, it's not the same. So I think it's a huge opportunity for independent filmmakers because all these TV stations, even like the one you're doing, need content. And so it's who's going to survive at the end. The Disney Plus, the Netflix, all of this. They're all soliciting content, and they need good content. So now you have an opportunity that you didn't have 5 or 10 years ago. With how much everything's being streamed now.
No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
well,
I think it's the golden age of TV. They say
the golden age of TV. So how do people get a hold of you? What would be the best? Your website, Instagram?
Yeah, any Instagram, website, can send an email.
Here's your website.
Yeah, I never have finished a website. I've had the intention. I've been lucky that I'm a lot of the work I get is all word of mouth and referral, and I've never had a slow point, luckily. But I've also never had Adrian, who I know you interviewed, actually started the website for me a couple years ago. But I've never really had like a web designer or even finished it, to be honest. But I think what's probably more important is the social media platforms. Really, really important. Instagram, there's at Night of the Insulin Vermin is the movie webpage.
Let's take a look at your regular one.
Flying Peanut Productions on Instagram.
There's
my personal one, which is all going to be dogs. Yeah, dogs and
there's Adrian and Jenny.
Yeah.
And
my
there's
crew from New York
and
one
Peanut.
time. Yeah. So my original, before Flying Peanut, I had a photography business called Good Picture Taker. So that page you were just showing is on my Good Picture Taker. But the social media, I think, is really important. People like to look at that. And then really, you'll get the chance. You just have to deliver, when you get the chance. And then the clients, for the most part, have been very, very loyal. So they like using the people they're comfortable with. You came in, you did a good show, they'll hire you next time, that kind of thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm going to bring up your information. So if anybody needs to get a hold of Gary for anything, here's his webpage and his Instagram.
Yeah, or even the Instagram / Flying Peanut Productions works too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that one was out there. But as always.
And then normally, although 2 of the ladies I edit with, Anna and Abril, they both also are in finishing up college also. So they edit here, 4 or 5 days a week, whatever, and then they take classes at Valencia or UCF. So they're both they have I guess coming up is midterms next week, something like that. So they're all like studying for midterms today. Normally they'd be 2 computers editing behind us, but my crew is studying for midterms. Plus we're ahead for our workload for the week, so we're in a good place.
Oh, that's good. And once again, I want to thank you for coming on. And as you can see, Gustavo and I are in the trailer working, trying to make this show possible for everybody. And that's one reason why we call it From the Trailer. And we want to thank Gary for his time. And hope everybody enjoyed what's happening. And again, if you need Gary for anything, please reach out to him. He definitely does great work. He does works for a lot of cool organizations. And I hope it becomes a successful year in 2021 for you guys.
Oh, thank you very much. Or they can, of course, get in contact with you, and you can always get a hold of me. You and I do a lot of shows together.
So always a chain
sometimes it works
reaction
that
here.
way too. Yeah. So
Thanks, Gary.
What are you trying to say, Gustavo?
Hey, man, we all talk to each other. We all work together,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
We have a
And I
saying
would
in
say-
Spanish that one hand washes the other and both wash the face.
Okay, that's a good saying.
Who you know, who's good, who does his job well, and we just stick with them.
Who you don't have to babysit, as Mike always says.
Yeah.
But we may
That's important.
fingers crossed. It looks like we're going to be back in New York at a different venue this year. So
Sweet.
there's no team building. There was no team building last year. No team building this year.
So what
however,
you're saying is I don't have
hopeful
to
for
walk
you.
up a stair step this wide with all the gear?
No. Hopefully we actually have an elevator, or something this time. So
Sweet.
yeah,
They
so
had an
it'll be like
elevator.
a whole new
It
world.
was outside the building.
Yeah. It's called Steps. That was our elevator. Yeah, through the kitchen. It was,
Kitchen steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
it was-
They literally were like this wide. They
Yeah.
were literally that wide.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous.
was
And then
rough.
they had a handicap elevator outside.
During winter. On the water.
The best thing we ever.
Freezing.
Yeah, the best thing we ever did with that whole show or that little dinner was we got a floor plan one year.
Oh.
And somebody erased one of the walls and put extra
table.
tables. And me and Gustavo were like, so these tables are
Outside.
floating because that restaurant is on the second floor.
It's hovering.
In winter in New York
Yeah.
City.
Good times.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
But hey, you got to remember, the best thing is they always put us in front of the bar, Gustavo. So we have
Yeah,
everybody in
that's
our way, so we can't see who's talking. No,
But
no
the two
bad
guys that don't
things.
drink in front of the bar.
The best thing was the brand new monitor that you got. Took it out of the box. That big crack. 85-inch monitor. And you had to find a Best Buy in New York City, the day before the event. That was, it was good times.
It was the day of the event, actually.
Oh, day out. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we sent who we sent
Josh
somebody.
and-
It was Josh and
yeah.
somebody else. I think it was it wasn't
Jen.
Jenny. Was Jenny?
No, it was Jen. My
Oh,
other
right. It was Josh and Jen,
Yeah.
and we had them drive through Manhattan to find a Best Buy to exchange that TV.
Yep.
That was funny.
Which is not easy to do in New York City.
Not with
Or
a cargo van.
No.
Nah. And then
But we did it.
and
I
I
didn't
got a
have to kill
parking
you.
ticket with that van
Yep.
right at the restaurant.
Yep. Right where they said to
Yeah,
park.
charity event, and the police gave me a ticket. And the funny thing was, they were there.
Yeah, they probably were attending. Hit
Yeah.
you with the ticket on the way up.
Yep, loved it.
Good times.
Well, once again, don't want to take much more of your time, but thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit and telling us what's going on and how you've been and where you think you're going to end up. And
All right.
like I said, we hope you're successful for 2021. And I know I want to say thank you. Hopefully Gustavo has got the same mindset.
You
but
just
you
gotta
know.
tell me where that movie comes out. Man, I want to watch
You'll
that.
be the first on the list. You'll love it. I
But
guarantee.
you know what?
100% guarantee you'll love it.
I'm kind of surprised you put Gustavo in it.
If
I
had
can
the
do very
option, he
good.
could have
I
been-
can do very good Spanish.
Yeah, You could have been one of the creeps. There's 2 creeps in the movie. They're lawn guys / creeps. But yeah, you could have been the 3rd creep. Fit right in there. There's a lot of like catcalling and, you know, tabuena, whatever, all this stuff, you know, and hollering at the girls. But you'd have fit right in. So it'd have been fun. Next time.
Yep. And one more time, here's information to get a hold of Gary. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And we hope everybody had a good time. And to find out what's going on for the next show, please like this and subscribe, and you'll find out when we have our next presentation. We're going to be highlighting more people in the industry that usually don't get highlighted. So once again, thank you for spending time with us, and have a great day, and we'll see you next time from the trailer.
Thank you.